Today we're going back to Detroit, visit some of the less touristy neighborhoods, and the Henry Ford. Yeah, that museum is so good, so big, that it is worth doing more than once. Also, Michigan Central, which was abandoned for many years. And Slow's Barbecue. Yeah, it came highly recommended. But first, we're gonna spend the night by Lake Huron. So yeah, our last video of this season in Michigan is next. I'm riding in my RV, wherever I want to be, 'cause I'm free in my RV, yeah. So I chose this campground kind of at random on Google Maps. I wanted something close to the shore of Lake Huron, and this came up. It's called Forester Park, and it seemed nice on paper. Sometimes it is good to just find a place at random like this, instead of looking at your notes or travel plans or recommendations. Yeah, we found this on our own. I think we have to check in here on the left. No, now on the right. It is kind of odd having these private cottages between us and the lake, and even odder having RV sites so close to them. Not to mention it is going to be a very challenging back-in. We almost thought about asking for a different site, but in the end, when there's a will, there's a way, and it worked, barely, approaching from the other side. I'd rather hit a bush than an F-150, and it suddenly started to rain, so I tell you what, we're going to take a nap. It is actually quite peaceful out here, which is exactly what we need after our action-packed weekend. This area of the campground is actually wide open.
Well, we're having a bit of a lazy day here today. We made it here to the shore of Lake Huron. Went in there, took a nap, and I want to walk around a little bit. I mean, the campground is wide open, and I thought this would be a good site, and it was. It was just a little bit of a hassle to back it in there. I'm not even gonna connect the water. I mean, tomorrow we're going to full hookups. But yeah, beautiful. Look at the house it has a lighthouse.
Yeah, some of these cottages are really something else.
Let's check out Lake Huron. Swim at your own risk. Deep water, strong current. Check it out, it's a beach. Right here. And I think we just connected to a signal from Canada. Yeah, we're roaming. They're gonna charge us for a day of international pass even though we're in the US. We should call. I think we're connected to Rogers or one of those. Pretty far from Canada, so that shouldn't be.
For a second, I thought it was a real bird.
Well, what a great discovery, this park, Found it by chance, searching for a campground on Google. I wanted something by the lake, and this was as close as we could get.
Let's see what that is.
Check it out, it's a water fountain. I thought it was like a gazebo of sorts.
Can you imagine this on a bright sunny day? I'd definitely be in the water.
It's the octagon gazebo.
Yeah, apparently most of the structure was destroyed by a tornado in 2019.
Nice playground. Everything is very well maintained, that's for sure. Except the water fountain. Yep, fall is definitely in the air. They have a community rock garden here.
And the pelican.
Interesting.
let's get back to Minitini and relax.
Well, that's it for today. Tomorrow we're going to Detroit. Well, good morning. We're gonna go see the sunrise. It's supposed to happen like in 10 minutes. Now we wait. I mean, I don't have high hopes about this sunrise, but east is that way, so. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get a sunrise on this first day of fall here. It'll have to be another time. Anyway, we're gonna get some work done here in the morning, and then we're going back towards the Detroit area, actually. Passing by Lexington along the way. No sunshine. It's cloudy to the east.
It's gonna be a tight turn, but I'm pretty sure we can make it without scratching Minitini.
Actually, this campground, not bad. That site one, maybe not so much, just because it is tight. With Cruiser, it wouldn't be a problem, but towing, yeah, it's you don't really have much of an angle, especially with that big truck parked there. And the con number two is that there's no cell phone signal here whatsoever. So right now, I don't even know. Okay, oh, now we came back. We have a 25-minute drive to Lexington.
In 600 feet,
we're not gonna
turn
do
left
much
onto
in
Michigan
Lexington.
25 South Lake Huron Circle Tour.
But yeah, it's nice. On a nice warm summer day, I wouldn't even mind, swimming in Lake Huron. Anyway, final destination for today is once again that KOA
Turn
in
left
Detroit.
onto Michigan 25 South Lake Huron Circle Tour.
Because we're gonna continue exploring the Detroit area for a couple more days. And we're still on the fence on whether to cross into Canada or make a beeline south. You'll be the first to know. Let's do it. Off we go.
Now driving through Forester proper. And there's a Jellystone Park coming up here on the right, which would have been our choice had we needed full hookups, but I opted to be closer to the lake instead. We've been told Lexington is a very pretty town, so we're going to stop for a few minutes. Although, let me tell you, all these towns around here seem to have their own unique charm. Yep. We've got some road construction here, right by the lake. Here we are, arriving in Lexington, Michigan. And yeah, I can see how this one stands out over the other towns. The charm is up more than a notch here. We really wanted to visit. In fact, we even planned to meet up with some viewers who live here. But in the end, time really got away from us. So we decided to continue towards Detroit once again. And once again the camera malfunctioned, so we don't have any video of that.
And I'm gonna tell you something, Matt. This is not a prime pooping position, but at least it doesn't smell bad. Now, I've always wanted to do this. Check it out, here we have the real Matt.
Hey. What's going on, Traveling Robert family?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
No, tell us about you, man. You really nailed it with this thing.
Thank you so much, and thank you to all the Traveling Robert fans and supporters who buy Liquified very quick. What makes Liquified special? This is not a chemical. It's made with all enzymes and bacteria, so it liquefies your waste, cleans your sensors, and breaks down the poo pyramid from forming in your holding tank. All you need is 1 ounce. Fill the chamber and pour it in your holding tank. It really is the best holding tank treatment in the industry today. Click the link down below. Thank you guys so much, and thank you, Robert, for all the support in our business.
Always, man. Thank you.
Oh, and you can now buy it at 1,700 Walmarts nationwide.
This fall, Liquified is giving away a free bottle of toilet tank treatment. Just go to liquifiedrv.com and buy a regular 32-ounce bottle and you will get a free 32-ounce refill bottle. Just click on Get My Free Bottle and fall into savings. There will be, of course, a link in the video description to liquifiedrv.com.
Well, good afternoon. Well, it's been rainy, then it was foggy. By the way, this morning I finally got him to do an oil change on Starship there. And now the sun is coming out, so it's a perfect time to go explore Detroit a little more.
Our friend Remy came to visit and he grew up here in Detroit, so he's gonna give us a tour of the less touristy parts of town, mainly a city called Hamtramck and the surrounding areas. He also promised some real good Polish food, so we're really looking forward to that. We're gonna get off the interstate here to avoid the worst of the traffic and see what the city really looks like. Here we see some signs of urban blight, but not as widespread as I thought. There's Boulevard Temple, formerly a church and now part of a retirement community, and the Motown Museum is right here on the right actually, but we're not gonna visit today. That would be the Fisher Building coming up here on the left, an Art Deco masterpiece from 1928. And I believe it is a theater too. Here on the right, Cadillac Place, originally General Motors World Headquarters, from the building's opening in 1923 until the year 2000. Milwaukee Junction here is considered the cradle of the Detroit auto industry. There were many car factories here at the turn of the 20th century, and some still are. Here we are, and I love getting into these neighborhoods sometimes, away from business districts or touristy areas, to see the local architecture and how people actually live. There seems to be a large Middle Eastern population in this part of town, mostly from Yemen and Bangladesh. In fact, Hamtramck is considered the first Muslim-majority city in the United States. I'm happy to report this part of the Detroit metropolitan area seems to be thriving. Even Remy, who used to live here 20 years ago, is pleasantly surprised. Now here we start seeing some vacant lots and dilapidated houses, although some of them seems like they are slowly fixing them up. All these vacant lots used to be houses, abandoned for many years, and eventually they got torn down. Alright, let's get something to eat. Is it me, or this year Halloween decorations seem to be up earlier than usual? Something's going on here. Anyway, the city has been a filming location for many movies. 8 Mile with Eminem particularly comes to mind, and one scene outside of a hospital was filmed right here at this very corner. Different angle though. Hamtramck historically has had a large Polish population, although not as much anymore, but still, their influence remains strong.
Well, we survived the tour through Hamtramck here in Detroit. Now you know what the real Detroit looks like. But anyway, and we're going to go to a Polish restaurant, but check out that eagle right there. And this is what a regular neighborhood looks here in Detroit. Very cool. I think we're going to this place called Polonia. It's been here for 60 years. But first, I really like this Polish village cafe, the decor. You got that painting up there. It's very pretty. Jedzenie vodka.
Jedzenie.
Jedzenie means food.
Yes.
All right, now I know my first Polish word. Okay, this is really pretty, as you can see.
We decided to come to Polish Village after all. Alright, let's get some Polish food. And it looks pretty nice inside. Cozy. We've got some pickle soup, pierogis, and mielona kotlety, and Polish beer. Let's walk to the corner of Yeman Street and Joseph Campo Avenue. Whiskey in the Jar seems to be your local Polish dive bar. And yeah, pretty busy street here.
Cell phone antenna on top of the building.
Let's get back to the car. Yeah, this has definitely seen better days. One last fact about Hamtramck: it is the most densely populated municipality in the whole state of Michigan. The more you know. Now we're going to another part of town. As you can see, we're going through an area of more abandoned buildings. You can tell some of these were nice houses at some point, and some still are. It's interesting to see a beautiful house right next to one that is boarded up and clearly abandoned. Some of them are for sale, maybe a bargain. This one, you can tell, has been recently remodeled. Our next stop, we've been told by more than one person, is not to be missed. Too bad we didn't allocate enough time. It is an island on the river called Belle, with lots of activities, even an aquarium, but above all, great views of downtown, both Detroit and Windsor, Ontario on the other side. Lots of Canada geese, and that's the conservatory up ahead. That would be the Carillon Tower from 1940, which originally didn't have any bells. And here we have an equestrian statue of Civil War Union General Alpheus Starkey Williams. And this, I have no idea what this is. This dilapidated building used to be the Belle Isle Boathouse. It would make for a nice yacht club, let me tell you. Our final stop is going to be Sunset Point, for that iconic view of Detroit and Windsor across the river.
Well, this is called Sunset Point here on Belle Isle. On the left, we have Canada. On the right, we have Michigan. Pretty iconic spot with the International Bridge, Canada, Detroit, all the folks rowing. I mean, we definitely have to spend more time here in Detroit. All right, let's head back, and tomorrow we continue exploring.
Great Lakes Museum. That would be cool to see. Belle Isle, by the way, it's huge. Definitely larger than expected. That would be the Detroit Yacht Club. And once again, time really got away from us this afternoon. So we're gonna go back to the KOA, and tomorrow will be another day. Thank you, Remy, for the tour and for lunch. Hope to see you soon.
Well, good morning. Almost afternoon, actually. It's been raining all morning, so 11 a.m. We're leaving now, going to the Henry Ford.
Here we are at the Henry Ford, and if you recall, we were here a few years ago, but Illy has never seen it, so let's explore it again. And once again, we're not gonna have time for Greenfield Village or the factory tour, but I think the museum is the pièce de résistance, right? So we're only gonna pay for that. It should still take several hours, and we may not be able to see everything. The full name? The Henry Ford Museum of American Innovation. So it is obviously not only about cars, although we do indeed begin with cars. Here's Ronald Reagan's Lincoln. It is of course fully armored, as every other presidential vehicle after Kennedy. And this is the one he was riding before he got shot in 1981. It did have a sunroof, so he and Nancy could wave at the crowds. And this is John F. Kennedy's, the very convertible where he got shot. Although after that, they installed a permanent steel top. And of course, every presidential vehicle after that was fully armored. Coming up ahead in the presidential gallery, I see what looks like a very nice 1950s car, which can be none other than Eisenhower's Lincoln. It was first used by Truman in 1950. But it was Eisenhower who had them put the removable plexiglass top you see here, so he could see and be seen in bad weather. It is a very cool looking 1950s Lincoln. Let's take a closer look. We keep going back in time. This is FDR's Sunshine Special, built during the Second World War, and it had special features. Nowadays we would call them accessibility features, to make it easier to lift the president in and out, since his legs had become paralyzed due to polio. And finally, Teddy Roosevelt's Brougham, circa 1902.
Teddy Roosevelt.
And that was the Presidential Gallery. Now let's see the rest of the museum. Some of the layout doesn't seem to make all that much sense, and it is not the easiest museum to navigate, being so big, but here we have a 1950 Plymouth Deluxe Suburban, from the decade when the station wagons became popular. Before that, station wagons were vehicles to transport passengers and luggage between train stations and hotels. What came after the station wagon? The minivan. Here we have a 1984 Plymouth Voyager. The 1957 Colonel Liberty, at the time the safest car in the world. It turns out EVs and hybrids are not a new thing. The birth of chain lodging in the form of motor courts. This is a cool looking specimen right here. We saw one of these at the National Museum of Transportation in Missouri, the Chrysler Turbine, very rare. Let's take a peek inside an old motor court, see what they looked like. And here's the camping section, starting with the VW bus. Ooh, Miami. It doesn't really look like that anymore. That's a 1949 Airstream. they've been around that long, and the original Winnebago, among other. The 1959 Westphalia was the first ever camper van. Here's the legendary Model T that you could have in any color as long as it was black. This 1903 Packard Model F was the second car to cross the US. Now that's a real beauty, although it is a replica. I'm gonna skip around a little here because, believe it or not, we're just getting started here. This is a massive museum. And that's Lammy's Diner, where you can dine in style. Here's a first-generation self-driving car. And the Cadillac Eldorado, that's a real beauty. Ooh, a steam carriage. You see, I'm trying to move this along and something always catches my attention. By the way, Lammy's here, you can eat inside that vintage diner. Too bad we're not hungry. It is not only about the iconic cars of the past, but every car that revolutionized something, like the Dodge Omni, the Ford Explorer, and even your run-of-the-mill Honda Accord.
Check it out. Who remembers Prodigy Internet?
Well, actually, that's pre-internet. They even have the original Toyota Prius. Moving right along, let's check out the trains. This is a reproduction of the 1831 DeWitt Clinton, one of the first locomotives built in the United States. Notice how the cars look like stagecoaches. People were certain the thing would blow up any minute.
You take a look at the sheer size of this machine. This is the Allegheny locomotive, and I can't even get it in the whole picture. From 1941, and trains were 1.25 miles long, but it was the highest, the most advanced steam technology. Still was no match for the diesel locomotives that came after that. So take a look at the size of that. Let's see if we can get inside, if we can see the cockpit, if you will. I know it's not called the cockpit, it's called the cab. Chesapeake and Ohio.
Ooh, it is pretty crowded in here.
This is very similar to the big boy that we saw in Missouri.
That one kind of looks like the Polar Express.
And this one is the 1858 Rogers.
Now we get to see more vehicles, like this 1975 FMC motorhome, the last one to be used by Charles Kuralt, mainly as a rolling studio to produce his popular On the Road feature on the CBS Evening News with Walter Cronkite. What began as a 3-week project lasted from 1967 through 1980. This was of course way before my time, but I've seen clips on YouTube. This is one that I wish they would let you inside. And here we have a semi-truck from 1952 towing a 1943 semi-trailer. Here we have a section on race cars. This one held a land speed record of 409 miles per hour from 1965 until 1991. I'm sure soon after the automobile was invented, people tried to figure out how fast they could drive. And who could drive the fastest, right? It is human nature. But you know what goes faster? Airplanes! Let's check out the adventures in early flight.
There it is. The famous photograph recreated at the museum.
Well, that looks uncomfortable.
Yep. The original fabric. The Model T of the sky.
Here we have a section with the interiors of different airplanes, like the legendary DC-3 from 1939. It is pretty well made, with sound effects and all that. Here's a Boeing 737, a 1967 airplane as it would have looked in the 1980s.
Oh, cool. Comfy.
Let's go back to 1928 with the Ford Tri-Motor.
1927.
Last, and very much least, the Boeing 40 from 1927. And sometimes we complain about airplanes today. Flight attendants. Well, there were certain requirements at the time.
That's a cool looking plane right there.
One of my favorite airplanes of all time.
The Douglas DC-3.
I would love to take a ride on one of those.
Yeah, the perfect airplane.
They have this elevated area where you can see everything from a higher perspective. Let me tell you, this is such a great museum. I think there is room for improvement though when it comes to signage, or maybe there should be a path for you to follow if you want to see everything. It is kind of easy to get disoriented in here and miss stuff.
The auto gyro, how cool is that? Here's the DC-3 from below. I would love to take a ride on one of these. There's a few still flying around the world.
Ooh, Amelia Earhart.
The Arctic Expedition of 1926. Check it out. The Arctic Alcove.
This was allegedly the first expedition to reach the North Pole by airplane. That one is still on the bucket list for me. This is really cool. Here we have Thomas Edison's signature, forever etched on the concrete. And they even have it on film, from the dedication of the museum on September 27th, 1924. I didn't know it was that old.
Liberty and justice for all. Oh, there's Abe.
This is an area dedicated to the civil rights movement. Well, it goes into women's rights and the emancipation. I mean, it is not directly related to American innovation unless you consider liberty and justice. Anyway, it is a part of history we should not forget. Here we have a very historic bus. The very bus where in 1955 Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat, which eventually led to the civil rights movement. I really wanted to go in and explore at leisure, but there is a guided tour going on, so I'll see what I can do.
Would not be a good representative for a boycott.
It's definitely a tour. Let's go in through the rear door, the colored section at the time.
Oh, this is it. This is the bus. Well, this is the Made in America power section with all the huge steam engines. It's a portable cylinder boring machine.
This part is also very impressive. And I've got new music, so you know I have to use it several times. And here we have a stationary steam engine from 1859. Some of these look almost gothic, like they are not just functional machines, they are also beautiful. And here we have a 200 kilowatt dynamo. That's a little larger than my Honda generator. Let's see what this is. It looks like a turbine. A water turbine and electric generator from 1897. And this one, they brought the entire generator from the power plant, I think. Let's go upstairs and check it out. Here we have power lines and that other water turbine we saw earlier. It is a massive machine.
Found a way to get up here. Look at this huge machine.
So it is like a hybrid system. On the left we have a steam engine and on the right an internal combustion engine, designed to work together, a tandem. The water that cooled the engine was fed back into the boilers as preheated water. Let me tell you, an incredibly sophisticated system.
That is really cool. Two engines working together.
It keeps going and going. This is the oldest surviving steam engine in the world from 1760, and they have it here at the Henry Ford. They also have a section dedicated to furniture and one dedicated to 20th century America. I have to check this out. It is like a journey through the decades. A jukebox, Elvis Presley. It sounds like the 50s. The evolution of television sets through the decades. Very cool. I think they should have kept going.
Because people have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook.
Here we have a record player and some records, and you know I love looking at all this ancient technology.
Hey, Game Boy.
Some of it I experienced, most of it I didn't. Ooh, Atari, for example. I'd never had one of those. Or these, for that matter.
Teenager's bedroom in 1987.
I can kind of relate to some of this, although I didn't have a computer until I was 20, but the rest? Yeah, kind of, sort of, particularly after I left Cuba. My room in Madrid was kind of like that. A little smaller, perhaps.
And this is the future. They need to update the future a little bit.
Always fun to see grown adults acting like teenagers. My turn.
There we go. Oh, that's me. Not the greatest green screen experience here, but hey.
I think the Sony Trinitron CRT may need some maintenance, but perhaps that makes it even more authentic. What do you guys think?
Well, here we have a combine.
Yes, you know they had to have an agricultural section. Our friend Jim Forey from Ohio would be proud. It's overwhelming, to say the least. And given my attention span, this is a museum that I would visit perhaps in 2 separate visits. For example, do the cars, the trains, and the airplanes in one session, and then come back the next day and do all this stuff here in the back.
Alright, I think it's time for an IPA break.
I'm really glad they had this cafeteria/bar back here. It's like the carousel of progress. And my apartment, believe it or not, growing up had that exact sink or something very similar. Here we go into a different era. Let me tell you, very educational to see how much our homes have evolved over the past, I want to say 150 years or so. I think we started with the most recent one, which was probably the present time when this museum first opened. Who wants to see heating stoves? Yeah, they have a collection of that too. Let's check out the Dymaxion house, the way of living for 1946, or so they thought. And this one is a guided tour.
Right after World War II.
This was, on paper, a great idea that didn't quite pan out that way.
You know, I think it's because of COVID or something, but they never let people in.
You got a bed, which is a lousy one right now, and you have an intake. Fuller was a minimalist. It's electric. It's called evolving shelves. Isn't that cool? There's 6 to 8 of those shelves. Put whatever you put in a dresser in here. Here's some of your linens. Green light, cool light. The more time you spend on that, the more energy you have. Believe it or not. Yellow light, a warm light. You feel like you're kind of relaxed a little bit. You want to take a nap on that horrible bed right there. Yeah. Hospitals use that color lighting a lot now. He was always, Fuller was always ahead of his time. Sometimes good, sometimes not so good. Take a look at the bathrooms. You get tours of bathrooms. This is something the Smithsonian does not do. Just so you know. This is a little bonus that you get.
It's like an RV bathroom.
Yeah, both. Fuller was in the Navy in World War I. This is the second of the 2 bedrooms. I don't want to push those folks along there. Take a look, and that goes all the way up. It's very strong. You see that ring up there where you see the convergence of those cables? What does that kind of look like to you, especially on a rainy day? Yeah, very good. It's like an umbrella. The more you push up on that ring, just like an umbrella, tension goes into those cables. And it comes all the way around behind you, underneath the floors, and we're being lifted up. Dynamic maximum tension on these cables. Dymaxion. That's where the name comes from. Fuller says this can withstand winds because of this kind of a build. Tension of 150 miles an hour. This is the busiest part of the house. This little slice here, for a minimalist. We've got your kitchen. Here we've got our laundry. This is my Ringer washer right here. Do you feel like you're sloshing a little bit right now?
While he does that, I'm gonna take a look at the living room, which is actually very nice. And I'm usually not a fan of guided tours, I usually prefer to go at my own pace, but this was very enjoyable. We got furniture, all kinds of stuff. That's really cool. All different eras. Check it out, technology. I don't know about you, but I'm getting kind of museumed out at this point, so we're going to start heading out. Still, I gotta say, top 5 of all the museums I've ever visited. Let's check out this area called Mathematica. I guess eventually they do fall. Oh, we're back at the ag section. This is starting to feel like Hotel California. Violins. Well, apparently Henry Ford was an avid violin collector. He loved fiddles. They reminded him of the rural dances of his youth. Seriously, there is more and more everywhere you look. Sorry folks, this is gonna be a long video. Longer than anticipated. Finally, telephones, and I had at least 2 of those. I'll let you guess which. Oh, the original iPhone. That's really cool, and that's how the assembly line would work. Alright, as expected, that was overwhelming. Now let's go eat. We're going back into the city. I just hope we don't get into Canada by mistake. We're doing that tomorrow, actually. Such a great city skyline. And where we're going is somewhere here on the left. It is called Slow's Barbecue. It comes highly recommended. Here we are. Maybe we can find parking on the street. Maybe in front of this red truck. Nope. 15-minute loading zone. Okay, take 2. Here we are. Paid for parking. $1 an hour, let's do it. Not Slows. Slows is that way. Tall wooden door. Okay, let's do it. It is almost like a speakeasy. Oh, this. Cheers. This place is completely deserted, but maybe it is the time of the day. Brisket enchiladas, that looks pretty good. And we have a feast here. We definitely ordered way too much food, and it is filling up now. Oh yeah, that certainly hit the spot. I wouldn't call it top 5, but top 10 for sure. Good brisket. Yeah, Slow's Barbecue. Highly recommended. We're going to see one last thing here in the Motor City, and that is Michigan Central, the old train station from 1913, which sat abandoned for many years. It was still kind of abandoned the last time I was here, but I hear it's being beautifully restored to its former glory. Well, here we are. This is Michigan Central, the train station. And I do believe this was abandoned for many years. I think the last time I came here, it was still abandoned, so
I hear it's being renovated, so let's check it out. I really hope it is open because it seems like a grand old building here. Here's how it looked until not that long ago. And yeah, it's quite nice actually. Access the station through the east entrance, from the ramp at left. Let's check it out. Yeah, beautiful Corinthian columns. Look at that. Yep, Detroit is definitely making a comeback. This must be the ramp. Oh, that's gotta be the top of one of those Corinthian columns.
So I guess they had to rebuild some of them.
Here we go, we have certain rules and regulations.
Oh yeah, take a look at this place. Let's see the Grand Hall, which looks very impressive.
Yeah, apparently this is what it used to look like when it was abandoned. And now check it out. Yeah, one of the great railroad stations.
And here we have, can we call it an oversized plaque? I mean, it is a sign about the restoration and all that, which was finished in 2024. All those details on the ceiling. It is actually kind of sparse for the most part, yet very tasteful. Now let's walk towards the South Concourse. This is very nice, with the glass ceiling. They've done such a great job restoring the old Grand Station. Nowadays, you can rent all these spaces as event venues. I'm pretty sure the tower is going to be office space.
It's incredible that at some point they let it decay so much. I mean, look at this. Look what it looks like. Good job, Detroit.
Alright, it is time to go, and I think this was a great stop to end our time here in Detroit.
I saw a couple of signs in there about filming or not filming, but I just went for it. I mean, yeah, this must be made out of railroad tracks. Check it out. It's pretty cool. Very, very glad I decided to stop here.
It is obvious they still have a long way to go when it comes to revitalizing and beautifying the city, but I think they're on the right track. We're just gonna drive around downtown a little more, get one last taste of the city, and then we go. Riding in my RV, wherever I want to be, 'cause I'm free in my RV. Yeah, I'm riding, I'm riding in my RV, wherever I want to be, 'cause I'm free in my RV. Tomorrow we're crossing into Canada. Yes, we're doing it! But that will be the subject of the next video. Until then, thank you so much for watching, and see you on the road.